Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of The Blacklist. A great episode. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, literally picking up where last week's episode ended off, we have Liz confronting her mom, and it's just like, oh, like, you, and I also love that she threw it in there. That's almost like a little bit of a jab of like, well, you shot your father, are you about to shoot your mom too? It's like, I feel like it's a little dickish of you to kind of throw that in her face, because it's like, yeah, she already feels responsible for killing one of her parents. Don't want to be the reason why, you know. I just thought that was a little dickish, kind of a little bit of a dickish jab, but regardless. The whole thing of like kidnapping her too and everything. It's like you want her to trust you and everything. Not the best way to start off this relationship, but to be fair, your relationship is very complicated. To be fair, Liz thinks she knows everything there is to know about you because of the story she's been told, which some obviously we as the audience know, but now Liz is learning isn't 100% true because obviously, you know, Katarina is telling her the truth of everything about like, oh, Reddington isn't who you think he is. Your grandfather told you that little story, because I love that she was like, the fact of the matter is, despite what Reddington has done and who he was before, the fact of the matter is I will trust him. Like basically he's my family because all that he's done, he might be a criminal, he might be a bad guy, but all that he's done is looked after me for these past like 30 years. What have you done? You know? But then to find out, wait, what? Reddington isn't who I thought he was. Especially when you learn, like, when she learns, like, wait, Dom was behind this. Both Dom and Ilya conspired to kill you. But it's like, why? Why would he do it? It's like, he would do that to protect the person he cares most about. And she's like, what? Who? No, you're his daughter. Why would he? She's like, no. And I don't even think I really registered that last episode. The fact of the matter is how super messed up that is. That the fact of the matter is your grandfather tried to kill his own daughter to protect you. That's got to make Liz feel a little bit of a ways. Because it's just like, because I'm sure for her it's like, I would never do anything. I would never try to kill Agnes to protect someone else I love. I mean, that's it. But once again, that's something Ilya had said back then. Is like, the fact of the matter is you can claim this was for Masha, but at the end of the day, it was protect yourself, because them coming after her would have meant they were coming after you too. So is it self-preservation? Was it really all for Masha? Was his reasons selfish? Because I guess in his mind, it's like, my daughter's this, my daughter's that. The fact of the matter is she's a lost cause. But Masha's away from all of this. She can have a normal life, because I guess for him, it's like, as long as Katarina's around, there was always, you know, there's always going to be that looming shadow of who Katarina was. But it's just, it is sad in the long run, you know. Like, once again, I don't remember if I brought this up last episode, but you can sympathize with Katarina, understanding why she's pissed off. Your dad and your best friend try to have you killed, you know. I mean, and to be fair, it's a complicated thing, because like, well, they try to do it to, you know, protect your daughter, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, we could have found another way, like, especially because it's very disheartening, because now Liz is like, wait, Dom spun this whole story of trying to make, you know, him and, you know, Ilya out to be heroes, that, you know, Ilya became Reddington, but now it's like, wait, Ilya isn't even who I thought he was. It's like, so who the hell is this guy? I mean, it still doesn't take away the fact of the matter is he has become Raymond Reddington. I brought it up last episode. What he told to Cooper a couple episodes back is so true. It doesn't matter who I was before. I am who I am now, and I like who I am now. I'm a better Raymond Reddington than even Raymond Reddington was. So it's like, obviously that's a big thing. And I figured as much, that when that situation came about, Liz would want to know the truth, because Liz kind of goes through a lot to get to the truth. Hell, even the fact that she admits, like, the Townsend directive finding you all these years later, it's like, you're on the run again. You were at least hiding out, but it's my fault because I went looking. Let's not forget, her and Wrestler went looking last season. And that's what sparked all this. And Reddington kept telling her over and over and over again, stop looking, because it's like, you brought up a name that was supposed to stay buried. They followed her leads to Katarina, you know, so that's also going to make you feel a bit of a way. It's like, your mom was in hiding. Now that you know the story and everything, and now you realize, like, holy crap, I kind of inadvertently put a target back on your back that affected him. Well, the target never disappeared. But I'm interested to dive into that, because we do know that Townsend is someone, whoever it is, because Dom had said it back then, that Townsend, he is the one at the top of the list who wants Katarina dead. Once again, I wonder if this has something to do with that cabal. just because the Cabal's because she was working directly with the Cabal to frame Reddington and all that to make him out to be this, like, traitor and everything, you know? So, I don't know. I'm curious to see what Liz kind of does going forward, because obviously when the opportunity presented herself, she says she didn't choose a side in this, but she did. She made it perfectly clear that she's choosing a side. Whether she looks at it that way or not, she's like, I'm not choosing, Reddington or Katarina's side. I'm choosing the truth. Which now we know at least one person does know the truth, because Cooper ended up finding out, being like, he figured out, like, the fact is you said that you were okay, because she came up with this cover story. Everyone is believing that, like, oh, she was, had Agnes. It's like, no, you said that you found out some evidence afterwards. It's like, we know you took a file before we got here, but no one else kind of caught on to that except for Cooper. Show how sharp Cooper is. But the fact is, like, he pieced it together himself. That woman, your next door neighbor, that was your mom, wasn't it? And it's like, and even I love Cooper's side in this thing where he's not even judging. It's like, you're literally torn between two complicated, you're torn between two complicated criminals. You're the Reddington, who, hey, despite everything, we do good work with him, so you kind of have to choose his side. But at the same time, it's like, hey, that's your mom. Which, like I said, she's trying to pick the truth, but it's like, at the end of the day, you've kind of chosen a side. And obviously, we know how Reddington does not like betrayal, especially because it's like, well, he literally had to deal with your betrayal last season too. You literally getting him locked up, almost getting him to death penalty. Granted, that wasn't what you wanted, but inadvertently, you put him in that position. And it's like, he's killed people for less. The fact of the matter is, the whole Kate situation, hell, that got brought up this episode too. So I just thought I think it's such it's a very complicated situation that Liz finds herself in. Once again, like, Cooper is right to say that. Like, he's like, I do not envy the position. You're kind of torn between the man that's kind of your family now, who's kind of looked after you, versus the woman. I mean, especially your existing family, too, because this also pits you against your grandfather, but the fact of the matter is he's lied to you. Because that's even the thing. It's like, why spin this story? Why even tell me that? Because he needed you to know some story, and he wanted to make himself out to be the good guy. Because obviously he told the truth to a certain extent. Because if the truth came out that, I guess, whoever Reddington really is, that must be such a pivotal part of this truth, this story. And the fact of the matter is, it's that whole, and I guess it's like, because obviously you don't want to admit the whole aspect about you and Ilya being behind trying to kill Liz. But once again, Reddington even said it last season. Why did you do that? He even told her, Reddington even made it clear. It's like, you didn't tell her the truth. You spun some little fantasy, and now I kind of have to deal with the fact is. Reddington was like, okay, he had to go along with the story because he couldn't contradict what Dom says, because it would unravel everything. Because Liz was already looking for answers. At the very least, now she got the answers she thought she wanted. It's like, okay, this is as much as I need to know. But then it starts getting further, like, no, who's this woman? I need to know. So, okay. So there's all of that. Obviously, we're having to go, wrestlers having to confront, a former blacklister, that being that dude who messes with people's memories and stuff. And obviously, this was all to find the other dude who's currently working for Katarina, who messes with memories. I thought that was, kind of interesting. I even love when they were looking for the guy who, facilitates these type of interactions. I love Reddington try to use his name, but it's like, Mr. Reddington, you don't have an appointment. And home dude was like, it's me. And she's like, oh, doctor. And it's like, you see his look on Reddington's face, almost like, so my name's not good enough. I need an appointment. But the moment you hear his name, it's like, no, it's good. I feel like there's I felt a little bit of like professional, like, well, that's kind of messed up. I'm literally a criminal mastermind. I'm like one of the biggest names in a criminal gang, and my name doesn't mean jack squat. Come on, son. That's how I felt like he kind of like just the look on his face and just his demeanor kind of said that without any words. I love that. But I love like how this whole situation ends up unraveling, because Park ended up meeting with obviously Katarina and her handler, or the dude she works with, the kind of and it's like, oh yeah, we live right across from Liz. Elizabeth, oh my God, what happened? Oh, I hope she's okay. Blah 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 blah. And I love that, because it's like, and I love that this all circles back to her and being like, wait, that's the name? It's like, what happened? It's like, me and Miss Radcliffe kind of, we kind kind of sort of crashed a wedding, and it's like, and then some guy gave us a name. It's like, yeah, that was my friend Frank. That's one of his, aliases. That was supposed to be the wedding he was supposed to go to, and now it gets revealed that Haram's kind of been the wrench in all of this. I forgot we hadn't circled back to that yet. I love that. And I even love Harold being like, so you crashed a wedding. He was like, yeah, but it was a really, really good party. I thought that was so neat, because I think that's going to become more of an element later on. I'm like, right, Aram's kind of a bit of a thrill seeker now, just because the woman he's with is a bit of a thrill seeker. So like, what that means going forward, like I said, I don't know. It seems okay for now, but I feel like we're going to have the shift in that story going forward of like that probably presenting more of an issue that might start presenting some nasty habits that, Aram might get from all of this, but regardless. Also, I love that Reddington had two people impersonating a wrestler and Aram at the place. I love that. And the whole situation of Dembe being like, who knows if this will work? What if someone here knows Donald? It's like, the likelihood is, it's like, what was he, like 1 in 4,000? It's like you have more of a chance of dying by vending machine. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, it did work, but obviously Liz had already got Katarina out. There's a part of me that was like, you don't think last second Liz is going to work with Reddington and captures her mom or something? I was like, no. Because obviously Katarina finding out the truth is the way that Liz is going to find out the truth about all of this. Because that is the thing. Why wouldn't Reddington want to help her? This Townsend directive, it's like, you had the means to potentially stop it. There has to be a way to do it. But I think the price would have to be too high that Reddington's not willing to pay it. The fact is, even Ilya isn't willing to pay it. So I think, I'm curious what it is, what that price would be. And I feel like if that price is anything, it'd have to have something to do with Liz. Because, of course they'd want to help. I mean, especially Ilya, considering the fact is you kind of put Katarina in this position, you try to kill her and everything. I mean, to be fair, there was a target on her back regardless. You just kind of escalated that more, and, your botched attempt to kill her. I mean, once again, I even forgot to bring that up. Once again, you killed the man that she loved. You killed her new husband and everything. So she, was off the grid. She was out of this work. She stayed away from her daughter to protect her, and she was happy again, and you took that happiness away from her. You literally took her life away twice. She had to leave her daughter behind. That's once. She had to try, she was literally going to help you. So that's the more bigger knife in the back, because it's like, because she ended up losing what she cherished most at the time because she trusted you. She was like, oh, my best friend needs help. I'm going to go help him. But, I don't know. I'm curious to see when we circle back around, because I feel like maybe it won't be important, but I feel like who her husband is might prove to be something important. Maybe not in the grand scheme of things, but, I don't know. Also, I love that little bit where Reddington is in the car and he's kind of talking to himself about the fact of the matter is he's always lived his life in the moment. But what does a man do when that moment is filled with anxiety and dread? And then Park is like, is that a rhetorical question? He's like, Agent Park, how long have you been there? She's like, the entire way? And he's like, huh. He's like, isn't it, huh? I was like, what the hell? But part of me wonders, let's not forget, it's an element that hasn't really circled back a lot. Reddington's sick. But part of me wonders, is that what that was? He was like, and he even goes, were we taking you somewhere? I'm like, is that supposed to just be a funny bit, or is there actually an underlining issue there? Because I'm thinking not unless that's supposed to be the fact of the matter is Reddington's kind of losing his mind a little bit. That he was maybe that's kind of supposed to be foreshadowing the fact is that he is kind of forgetful. It's like, wait, how long have you been with her? Wait, why are you here? Huh? Were we taking you? That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I took it at the time as a funny bit, but now I'm kind of like, there might be more to that. Hey, maybe I'm reading too much into the situation, but I love it's like, oh wait, Flynn, you know him? It's like, oh yeah, that was Liz's next door neighbor. It's like, oh my God, you're a treasure, Agent Park, but I need you to get out. And she's like, wait, seriously? And he's like, yeah. Another rhetorical question, and I love that you literally pulled over in the middle of driving, and you just had her get out, just because it's like, well, you can't have her around while you're trying to do what you got to do, So, grand scheme of things, it's interesting, but obviously Reddington chasing after, at least following her, and then I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I was like, wait, Reddington, are you going to do something? Like, the fact of the matter is, she was going to get out and actually do. I'm wondering what, because I guess. that was how it was always supposed to end. He needed Katarina to die if it meant, because even he's, once again, that depends on who Reddington is, because I guess because he has no connection to, he must, because it's like, you love and care for Liz so much. But then I'm constantly thinking, like, not unless we're dealing with like a double bluff, where the fact of the matter is that he is the real Reddington. Not unless Reddington actually has been alive this entire time. But it's, you know, because it could be a situation of that, it could be like a, that's what's constantly crossing my mind, that this might be a double bluff, that the real, well, because the bones and everything were Reddingtons, but not unless that was some, I don't know. Because this could be the thing of, he could be looking for his own redemption of like, I did a lot of terrible things. People thought terrible things about me anyway. And he, in a pseudo way, he was trying to clear his own name last season. I don't know. Because I don't know if they necessarily, because once again, who would go through this much? If Reddington was Ilya, you'd understand. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this for my best friend. But we now know that obviously Frank is Ilya. So it's like, who the hell is Reddington? And why would you go through so much for Liz? You know, you have to have some connection to Katarina for you to go through this much for Liz. Not unless you are the real Reddington and you were talking about who you were before, as in the Reddington you were, the mistakes that you made, the affair that you had, this other family, you know, and everything. And it's like, yeah, the cabal lied. They screwed up your name and everything. They made you out to be this criminal, but maybe he reinvented himself as this criminal because it meant... Well, no, because it can't, because obviously there's the whole thing about, like, he knows who Reddington really is, so it can't be a thing of, like, that's the real Raymond Reddington. It has to be because of the bones and everything, but also the plastic surgery. Why would the real Reddington go through plastic surgery and go through the trouble of hiding who you really were at one point in time? Once again, whoever it is connected to all of this, and I'm just not sure why. And I guess maybe that's the price. Reddington's real identity would be the price, because whoever it is must have some kind of connection to Townsend too. So Ilya's trying to protect probably not only Liz, but also whoever Reddington really is, because they went through hell and back to hide his identity. And obviously it's just kind of like, well, she wants to think I'm Kozlov, she wants to think I'm Ilya, it's fine. But no, I don't know, man. There's so many secrets. There was also that line I thought was kind of interesting where Wrestler, you know, it's like, yeah, we're going to take Home Dude back. And Reginald's like, vengeance doesn't look good on you, Donald. He's like, I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to take him back to prison. He's like, if that's what, take him back to prison, huh? I wonder. And it seems like Donald doesn't. It seems like Wrestler has him locked up, and even Park is kind of a conspirator along with all of this. Like the dude that was working for Katarina to get the memories out of Ilya, it's like Wrestler's using him to scramble the other dude's brain. It's like, well, it's a little bit of payback because it's like you scramble my brain, but it's also, I guess it's because you're the best at implanting memories and messing with people's memories, so I need you to kind of disappear. Pseudo, I'm a wipe, he's going to get, it's like, the fact that matters, oh, I'm going to send you back to prison, but the fact is, I'm going to make sure that you're never able to do what you do again. Make it that no one could ever use your expertise, because even if he's in prison, I think Wrestler doesn't even want to take the chance that he might someday get out, escape or whatever, or he doesn't want anyone to ever go to him. It's like, oh, I need your expertise on how to do it. It's like, no, if you're going, your tactics, all that you know about messing with people's memories, implanting memories and all of this, it'll be gone. And then I think it speaks volumes that even Agent Park she's tiptoeing these lines of gray. Once again, we don't know what it is about her past that made Liz be like, oh, so okay with it and everything. But you know what I just remembered too? I went off a huge tangent and forgot to get back to the point I was trying to make. Okay, so finally circling back, I do apologize, but the whole like Reddington, I was like, oh, he was actually going to step in and help. I was wondering about that, because like, well, you want her dead anyway, so why would you like even do that? But I guess it's because it's like, well, the fact is, if anyone's going to kill her, it's got to be me. She doesn't deserve to just be gunned down in the street. But Dembe stopped him, and I was like, wait, is this real? And she gets shot. I was like, what? This is. But then he back him up. I'm like, nah, this has to be a play. Like, there's no way it's going to end like this, especially after that. But then, you know, Reddington tells it to Liz, and like obviously Reddington doesn't know that Liz knows that was her mom, and then she's kind of shaken. But then, like, lo and behold, Katarina calls. I was like, of course it was a play. I knew it had to be. I was like, there's no way they're going to kill Katarina off like that, especially because there's so much we need to know here. Because obviously it would make things a little too convenient for Reddington and everyone else. Because if Katarina actually was dead, this whole Townsend directive would go away. But for her, it's like, the fact of the matter is, I love you, Liz. The fact of the, well, Masha, if once I'm going to be gone for a while, it might be weeks, might be months, but the fact of the matter is, I will come back, and I will come back with the truth. And obviously, once again, this is something that Liz has. Once again, Liz always finds herself in this position, doesn't she, where she and Reddington are basically at odds. Once again, she claims not to be on any side. And I think for her going forward, she knows that Reddington is lying. But the fact of the matter is, if anyone's really lying the most, it's Dom. The fact of the matter is, he told her, he spun this tale. Especially, she's going to look at Ilya a little bit of a different way, too, that I'm curious about. Because the fact is, she can't let on that she knows that Frank is Ilya and that Reddington isn't Ilya. So it's kind of like, okay, so that's definitely going to be really interesting to see. Once again, like, she did that whole, like, deception last season, you know, so now we're going to see her kind of do that again this season, potentially, you know, which, to be fair, Reddington's done that the entire time he's known Liz. The fact of the matter, he's always kept her in the dark, and now it's like she's going, but once again, it's just, I think she's not going to hold it. Like I said, I don't think she's going to hold it against Reddington, because despite who he is, she has accepted the fact is he's sacrificed a lot for me. He's done a lot for me. Granted, I don't know who you really are, but does it really take away from the fact? Because she was willing to accept it last season because it's like, oh, you're Ilya. So, like, despite all that you've done, I realize how much you've sacrificed for me. That sacrifice is a little bit taken away because of the fact is, you know, he's not Ilya, but the fact of the matter is, it still remains. He's going through so much for you. Granted, you still like, well, if you're not Ilya, who are you, and why would you go through this so much? And I think that's the whole thing. Like, it seems like that's something Katarina's not necessary. Well, because obviously it's part of it, but obviously the Townsend directive is more so than anything what I think she's worried about the most. But that has to register to her too, like someone pretending to be Reddington to look after, you know, Liz. Once again, Frank is willing to, Ilya is willing to die before he tells her who Reddington really is. And it's, once again, it's like, you would protect him over me? You literally screwed me over by trying to get me killed last time, and you feel bad about it, but even despite that, you would still protect him over me. Why? That's the biggest question going forward. So I'm interested to see how, you know, Liz handles this. Like, once again, is she going to tell Cooper the truth? Because obviously Reddington's probably going to be like, oh, Katarina's dead. And it's like, Liz going to be like, yeah, I guess I'll never know the truth. Or is she going to tell Cooper the truth? Or is that just never going to come back up? It's like, oh, they're going to be looking for the woman who kidnapped me in Paris. But it's like, I'm going to know the truth and you're going to know the truth, but we're not going to worry about telling the others the truth. Maybe not. I don't know. We will be waiting quite a while to get answers because the Blacklist isn't returning until March. Hell, they didn't even give us a specific date. So there's that. So I'm sure we'll find out the closer we get to March. But holy crap. I think this would be like the mid-season or rather fall finale. So the show typically has really good fall finales because they usually leave you on a big cliffhanger, like, where the hell is this going to take us type of situation. So I am very, very curious to see where this does take us when the Blacklist returns. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and good